Here we go. Two examples today, just like yesterday. First one. I want you to start by writing this out. So you can sing your little song. X is equal to opposite b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. I'm literally just copying down the formula from the top that you just sang. Okay, you've got to know what a, b, and c is. This is equal to 0, so we're good. We have done this a million times. What is a? Looking at that equation right now. 2. A equals 2, so this is a good thing to write out. What's b? Negative 7. What is c? 6. You're solving for x-intercept, which is why it's x equals. You have plus or minus because just like we talked about on Friday, when you take a square root, you have positive or negative. Okay. Now we just plug in. When you plug in, if there's anything else next to that variable, you need to put parentheses. So we are going to write it out exactly as we see it. Don't skip steps. Write it exactly as you see it. X equals, okay, negative b stands for opposite of b. So if it's negative 7, what should we put? Positive 7. Positive 7 plus or minus the square root of b squared. You have to put this in parentheses. Negative 7 squared. B squared minus 4 times a is 2 in parentheses, times c. What's c? 6. So you're literally just plugging it in. And then all of it over 2 times a. So 2 and then parentheses 2. This is where you got to make sure that you are doing your order of operations correctly. Exponents come first, and multiplication. Once you figure out what number actually goes under the square root, you can take the square root. Okay, let's start with the exponents. So we're going to leave this out front right now. X equals 7 plus or minus the square root. We're not messing with any of that right now. What is negative 7 squared, please? 49. Positive 49. Okay, we can go ahead and do this multiplication. Put the minus sign. So minus, what's 4 times 2 times 6? 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 6 is 48. So minus 48. So you get negative 48. Negative 4 times 2 times 6. Negative 48. All of that over 2 times 2. So all of that over what? 4. Okay. Now we are going to simplify it. Now we can write down what number is under that square root. 1. So plus or minus the square root of 1 over 4. We know the square root of 1, it is what? 1. So positive or negative. And it already pretty much does it for you. We are going to split this up into 2 parts then. X is equal to 7 plus 1 over 4, because it's positive 1 or negative 1. And then x equals 7 minus 1 over 4, because the square root of 1 is 1. Okay? So on the left, you'll get 8 divided by 4. So my answer is 2. Oop. That's one of your x-intercepts is at 2, 0. The other 7 minus 1 would give me 6. You get 6 over 4. Let's simplify that fraction. What does that simplify to? Close. 3 halves.
Oh, shoot. It's over.
You're good. So 3/2, 0 is the other x-intercept. Quadratic formula is awesome because it works every time. You could have done this with a different method, and I'll expect you to know how to do all of the methods. But if you get really stuck, do this. It works. But you got to be careful with your order of operations. Don't be skipping steps. Do the parentheses. It'll help. We're doing one more example. That's it. You need a calculator. If you don't have one, please make sure you get one. You need a calculator. Please make sure you have one. Okay. On this second example, hold on. On this second example, I see some of you who are already starting the quadratic formula. Wait. You're finding x-intercepts. What's it need to be equal to? 0. So how do I make it equal to 0? Subtract the 12th. That would make it equal to 0. So really, we've got 3x squared plus 4x minus 12 equals 0. That's better. Now you can write down, okay, what's A? What's B? What's C? A is 3. B is 4. C is negative 12. You have to make sure you take the signs in front. You write down your fancy little formula and sing a little song if you want. Right? X is equal to opposite B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. Okay. And then we just start plugging in. Please make sure, parentheses, parentheses. This one you don't need parentheses for, the one that's very up front. So x equals negative b. B was 4. What do I put? Negative 4 plus or minus the square root of b squared. So 4 squared in parentheses minus 4 times A is 3 times C, negative 12. Okay, all over 2A. 2 times 3. Let's simplify what's under the square root first. So we're going to leave this negative 4 out front. We're going to leave the plus or minus. What's 4 squared? 16. 4 times 4. Okay, now in this part, if you needed to calculate so you messed up, then please do. You are doing negative 4 times 3 times negative 12. Which will give you positive 144. So plus 144. Because I already used the negative 4. All of that over 2 times 3, so all that over 6. Okay? This will be the point where you can actually find the square root, or figure out what number goes under that. So you'd be taking the square root of 160. So negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 160 over 6. 160 is not a perfect square. So I need you to, in your calculator, you got to actually figure out what the square root is. It's going to be a decimal. To get the square root button, if you have one of my calculators or one of those TI 30 ones, it'll be right above x squared. So to get it, you press the second button. 160. Square root of 160 gives you some kind of decimal. We're going to use 12.649. We're going to use 3. The more the merrier. Because we want to try and be as accurate as we can. So you have two things now. X equals negative 4 plus 12.649 over 6, and x equals negative 4 minus 12.649 over 6. You have to do the subtraction on the top first, or the addition on the top first, and then divide by 6. So figure out what the top is, and then divide. So here we've got negative 16.649. Is that wrong? No, that's right. And then over here, that'd be 8.649. Does that look right so far? Okay. And then if you divide by 6, you'll get decimal answer for both. Let's see the general comes. 1 point. I think you forgot. Oh, okay, you got this backwards. 1.44. We're going to round it 1.442 for this one. So 1.442 comma 0. And then the other one, what do we got? Whatever negative 16.649 divided by 6 is. See, a lot of us have been negative, is it negative 2.775? Yeah, negative 2.775. Write that as a point. So quadratic formula is really nice to use whenever you get obnoxious answers like this. Because you couldn't really get this, you can't get this by factoring, you can't get it by, could get it by square root. But really, when you have decimal answers, quadratic formula is the way to go. And sometimes you won't know that until the very end. Okay.